dozens of police officers swarming Bayside Marketplace tonight.
That's where we find Local 10 crime specialist Bridget Matter live with what sparked this chaotic scene. Bridget.
And chaotic is an understatement. There has been a lot of activity in the last hour. This all started, according to police, with some sort of fight between juvenile groups that were armed with sticks.
Good day. 9:35 de la noche de hoy, 1 de enero, frente a Bayside.
Ronnie, what do we got? We got units headed out there now. EMS supplier. Whereabouts? I think Alpine Walker's farm.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to Alien Addict on a fine and luxurious evening. It's a luxurious evening, all right, because I've had a 3-hour drive home from work today and had like Lee in my ear going, mate, we need to kind of maybe change the show. Why? Because the shopping mall's been attacked by fucking giant 10-foot aliens. Without further ado, let's get on with this shit.
I do, buddy.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I've managed to go 48 hours without being attacked by an 8-foot alien, so I'm doing all right.
Madness. Nick,
What's up?
my lad,
Yeah.
Terrestrial,
What's up?
and this man is he's made it. He's made it from afar. Ashton,
Hey guys, nice to be here.
you're in a hotel.
I know. Sadly, we're in a hotel today. We're not. It's not the Econo Lodge though, so it's an upgrade.
I've never seen you without headphones.
Yeah, it's weird, huh? Look at this. Ugh, what's all going on here?
See, he has ears.
This room. Oh, it's like when someone takes off their glasses. All of a sudden, it's like,
New person.
Superman, Clark Kent, right? Up. Yep.
There's some merch there. If you with that, I can see that. Super Forbes.
Yeah, I just got done with the Tim Pool podcast today on Culture Wars. It was pretty awesome. It was a fun time hanging out with them. We got to play some poker afterwards as well. I didn't win any money, but it was still a really good time hanging out with all those people.
What's the setup like he's got down there? 'Cause it looks pretty incredible.
Yeah, I don't know how much I should be able to reveal, but yeah, he's got a pretty awesome setup. We're in a house where there's multiple studios and lots of people coming in and out. I had a moment there where I was like, wow, I'm actually about to talk to Tim Pool here, right? And, as I was talking with some of the other people on the side and went up there and didn't quite get shell-shocked, but definitely I'm in a position of privilege, at this point where, I think a lot of people don't get these kind of opportunities. So I'm extremely grateful for Tim and everybody else I was able to talk to, have Dave Rossi with me as well, which was pretty awesome.
That is awesome, mate. Absolutely awesome. What's next, Rogan? When's that coming?
No, it's funny. So, and also I want to shout out to Shane, who's also on the podcast as well. Like, just really awesome guys. It was fun to talk to them. You know, I can't blame anybody for being skeptical about the situation. I mean, we're talking about 777s like teleporting in the sky, right? But you know, I still think that the science will check out and everything's really real out there, related to all that. So sorry, what was your, oh yeah, the Rogan thing. So I was talking to one of the ladies who was hanging out there downstairs afterwards, and she was like, "Oh, you're definitely gonna be on Rogan," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think that a lot of people have a hard time believing a lot of this stuff can be possible, especially from the science perspective, and you know, maybe Rogan's one of those people. So you know, going on Joe Rogan would be a dream, but it's not something I can ever really expect, you know."
Well, you're going on there with an Alien Addict t-shirt because I'm going to send you one if you're going on. So just
I'll have to show my shirt actually here. I just realized I'm wearing my MH370 shirt. So give me a sec.
Look at that beast.
Yeah, we were yeah, there we go. We were stripping, but there you go. There's a MH370 shirt. For the record, no, I don't sell these shirts. I found it actually on social media, and somebody was selling them, and I bought 3 of them because, you know, you can't have enough. So I'm a big fan of the shirts and, you know, getting the attention for the videos out there, and just the case, really.
You might not sell them. We do. So there you go.
I thought I bought one of these. Did I not buy one of those? Are you guys holding out on me? I'll have to double check and see. If not, we're going to be buying one of those shirts for sure.
Yeah, but I like the t-shirt, mate. It's cool. It's cool. Speaking of shopping for t-shirts, a lot of people shopping was interrupted in a little mall in Miami.
Very nice segue, Ollie. Very nice.
Very good. Yes.
So what do you guys think about these aliens, huh? What do you think that this whole situation is pretty weird, right?
That video of what seems like something walking around outside is odd. And I was looking at it this morning, and I kept thinking to myself, like, what can it be? What could that be that's normal? And I couldn't think of anything. Like, you know, I couldn't think of something to explain it away.
Yeah, it's really weird. The amount of police is the weirdest thing to me. From what they're saying, the story is some teenagers fighting and you know, kind of hitting some stuff and a couple of fireworks. That's a lot of cops, man.
Yeah.
When just up the road from me, not too far, is Michigan State University, and when they had the shooting last year where the guy was you know, walking around on campus, a couple of the kids got killed. Dude, there was not that many cops, and they were casing the entire campus. MSU is one of the biggest campuses in the country, and there was not that many cops, man. So I don't know. I've heard people talk about the active shooter theory or like a terrorist thing or something like that going on, but it's weird for me. It's hard to accept that right now with that much police.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird that this event has come out 5 days after initially happened, because was it the new year, wasn't it? The 1st of January this event happened. I'm surprised. Normally with a UFO story it will come out quite quickly, but this has lingered a bit, which adds a bit of oddness.
Yeah, like the day that it kind of happened, I saw posts on X that was saying the airspace had been shut down. I saw the video of all the police outside. The first thing I thought was shooter. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe it probably would have gone over 2 days here. Like the next day when I woke up, there was the like people talking about the being like a creature there. And then like today was the first time I saw the supposed video of something walking around outside.
Yeah, I looked it up. It looked like it was maybe January 2nd or maybe 3rd, so 2 or 3 days old. And one of the weird things is, there's a couple, I guess, I hate using this word, synchronicities, but I think Dan Bongino, am I pronouncing his name correctly? Yeah. He was saying something about seeing some kind of craft like the other day. And I remember replying to him being like, hey, send some videos. And he was in Florida as well, or seeing some lights or something like that were anomalous. And then the other thing is you know, it reminds me of the Las Vegas kid who saw their family that saw like these 8-foot tall beams or whatever in their backyard, right? Like those are 2 things that came to mind right away for me. So, you know, people are like yelling at me for reporting on it, and some people telling me are yelling at me now for like showing this video of this guy recanting the situation. But, you know, this morning, like some friends of mine sent it to me, and I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then I go see this interview of this guy, as supposed witness, saying that he was, running from shadow creatures, and it seemed pretty credible. I mean, obviously anything can be a lie, right? But now I've seen a video that says that he made it all up or something like that. So, the thing why I want to talk to you guys is now it's this borderline on this conspiracy where it's like, okay, was he talked to, or is this like whole thing really just a charade, right?
The recant thing was weird, wasn't it? Like a really short video that he put out when you consider how long his the first one he put out was. I found it interesting the witness thing he put out, because to me, when you consider all the stuff that's going on about UFOs right now, like the plane lady seeing a reptilian, aliens in Las Vegas, I find it weird that he went for like shadow people that were sort of drifting in and out and like teleporting around. Because if you were going to make something up, I would have thought you'd have naturally gone to there was aliens there, to jump on the bandwagon of what it already had.
Yeah, and I think the other weird thing is like, okay, I mean, the story, the official story doesn't really make any sense either. Kids fighting with sticks. What the hell are we talking about? Fireworks? Like maybe the fireworks side, but the sticks. Like, can you at least say that there were people shooting each other? Because I'll believe that, but kids fighting around with sticks just doesn't add up to me. And where are the videos of the kids fighting with sticks too? Like, why are there no videos of at all? Right? I've
seen a video today, literally probably about half an hour ago, of a few of the kids beating up a guy.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And literally, Lee was saying like this. I think there must be about 15 of them, and this guy just gets up and he's just like, and he gets a good kicking.
Yeah,
and
I find that really odd how quickly he got up, because lo and behold, I've had the shit beaten out of me before, and I don't understand how somebody could be wellied like that and then just pop back up. But again, could be the adrenaline, of course, could be like fight or flight stuff. The main thing I have with that is you can't have a fight in a school without 17 school kids filming it and sticking it on TikTok.
Yeah,
this would be everywhere. Because that to me is that's as good enough. Like the line always is, well, if you had so many people and there was all these people like seeing these creatures, there'd be video footage of the creatures. We go, yeah, okay, well, if there's a fight, there'll be video footage of the fights. There's still something weird.
Appreciate that, Phil. Ashton, I think we need to send you $4.99 to or a bottle to.
You guys keep it. But thanks, Phil. Yeah, I saw that video that guy getting beat up too. I actually saw that several days ago, because that was making the rounds, because those are some of those videos that the media doesn't really like to show you in general, for some reasons. And the thing about that is that's not inside a mall. Like, that's happening outside. So okay, maybe that if that is in Florida, okay, maybe that's from when the people left or whatever. But like you guys said, like, where's the World Star videos of some kids fighting with sticks? Because I'll throw that on my social media for sure. That'll get a lot of engagement.
Well, why hasn't anybody jumped on the face peeling thing yet? Why don't we start to hear that there's face peelers in Miami? I'm waiting for that one. Somebody make that connection.
It's like a Predator Sue situation.
Well, look, they would have went to England or America, not England. So you're safe. I'm not. I'm in Michigan. I'm far from it. I got some time to run. But I was wondering if anybody was going to make that connection at all.
I think people have done the whole like Peru thing with it too. I'm sure I've seen that, but it just seems to be. I'm sure nothing like mega will come of this. I think it'll just drift into the news cycle and drift out. But it is this continuation of stories where we can't go a month without something like a crazy story. Like you wouldn't have had, like 10 years ago, for instance. I suppose then you could say we wouldn't have had like the fleshed out version of social media we have now. But you wouldn't have had like a story of an alien chasing people out of a mall. Like that's it. It just seems like we're getting these really bizarre stories from nowhere all of a sudden.
Is it Twitter though, Lee? Is it kind of like where Twitter has been unleashed and where
Maybe.
it was pre-Elon, this stuff never would have kind of had any real steam on it?
Could be, and then the internet works itself up into a shoot, and all of a sudden you've Like you've got this crazy story, but when you look at that response, it is wild.
There's 100 police cars there. I mean, that's way too much.
I mean,
Yeah.
I read there was 50 police cars. I reckon I could count more than 50 police cars there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
former Miami police chief said that he's like, it looks like an overreaction, but this is the strategy. I'm thinking strategy for kids to go break up some kids.
That's
Come on,
literally every police car that they have. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how serious they would have to consider. I mean, Miami's huge. There's crazy crime all over the place. To be able to pull everyone off of that, you must think it's a really dire situation.
Yeah, the only reason there wasn't more people there is because the Avengers aren't real.
No, but hey guys, they arrested 4 people though, so it's totally a stick fight. 4 people,
4 kids
with 100 police cars here. You arrested 4 kids. Like what? And they apparently took the power out in the mall as well. Like what?
Moreland surrounding area, I think. More surrounding, and there was air traffic was stopped over the area, I think.
Yeah, I've heard some of this stuff might be rumors, so I don't know how much we should buy into it. But the reason why I buy into the idea that the mall power had to have gone out is because if it didn't, then there should be videos of everywhere, right? Like these stores have videos.
True.
The weird part, the reason why I bought into this was that this, like when this video first came out, all these police cars several days ago, people were wondering why there was so many too. Like you guys were mentioning, like this is more than school shooters get, right? Like this level of response seems disproportionate for sure. But at the same time, like how do you cover this stuff up, right? Like we live in an age where everybody's got cell phones. You know, I can't really imagine the police being able to stop every single person and delete their cell phones and without somebody coming out.
That was the rumor, though, that people were coming out of the mall and they weren't being allowed to leave until they could go through their phones. And that's rumor, you know.
Yeah, I guess we'll know one way or another when we get some either some shadow alien videos or some stick fighting videos. Either way, I'm going to be posting those on my Twitter for sure.
I would argue that if something like that had happened, the only way to contain evidence of it coming out would be to have that sort of reaction, because you would need every perceivable entrance covered and enough manpower to manage the people coming out.
Do you think every single one of those cops have got a camera mounted to them?
Oh, they have to, yeah.
I think they have to, yeah. That is a lot of footage. Because there's 2 people in those police cars, so you are doubling the amount of crew. And I'm looking forward to the footage. Like
again, we should be able to get the body cam, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's it.
Yeah, I read a tweet saying somebody actually already FOIA'd the body cams. That's definitely what should happen here at this point, right? Like, there's how many body cams got to be in there? There's got to be a lot. Someone's got to have some video of some kids fighting. So hopefully there'll be a follow up to this. Also,
you see all the searchlights as well.
Yeah, do you see all those flashlights there? What's going on, dude? Is this
the power is out there? I think.
Yeah, the power must be out, right? If they have all those flashlights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was this other video of like, I don't know, people trying to slow it down, say it's an alien or whatever. But the reason why I can't buy into that is like, if that was, you know, outside, out front, there'd be tons of videos for sure, people videoing it. To me, I think that's, you know, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I think that might just be a couple of like policemen walking side by side casually, and it's just far away and blurred out.
It looks tall though. I mean, have you got the video, Ollie?
Bear me a second. I will grab it.
If you've got our
I don't want to play the intro again.
No, just if you've got our signal, I posted clips of it on our signal chat.
I don't have signal logged on the computer.
God, that's why.
Yeah, especially when you look at like the single people, you can tell that are walking around in the same video. They're kind of wavy and ethereal the same way. So if you put 3 people, it stacks up. Yeah, it's similar.
I mean, I'm just going to go with the fact it's aliens because it's more fun.
I was going to
say that. It's more fun.
It also doesn't enjoy going through StreamYard, does it?
Well, I mean, if it is a tall alien, Miami Heat's going to send out a new contract real soon here, huh?
So what exactly?
People making jokes about signing them up to for the Dolphins as well for in the football team. Yeah, American football for my British friends.
I see what you're saying, Ashton, about 2 police officers walking side by side now.
Yeah.
You've got that kind of like split angle there.
It is weird that the quality is just so bad, though. I mean, it is
Mhm.
2023, right? Or did we get warped back in time?
Well, it's obviously from a helicopter as well, but I don't think the color helps here because like red and blue are notoriously bad for taking photographs in under. It's why
But it kind of does look like giant legs.
yeah, it's why like photographers hate like photographing bands because normally like stage lights are red and blue and it's an absolute nightmare.
I guess the obvious question, though, here is, what would it actually take for people to believe something like this was real, right? Like, this is the discussion I was having in my space the other day where it's like, I feel like almost even something like this, even if it was real, I feel like people are just going to, like, we're going to have this exact same response that we're seeing right now, right? So it's like, I don't even know how to distinguish anymore.
I think it would have to be, and this goes both ways. I think even if you wanted to do some sort of like Project Bluebeam style, like fake, it would just take enough people doing social media stuff, posts, enough independent people putting the same thing up over and over again. And I think people would believe it. I think although we are in a world of distrust, I think what we distrust at the moment is
hey, we can see him.
yeah, is institutions. I don't think we necessarily distrust each other, or at least we do. We trust I should caveat that by saying we do trust each other, but especially when we depict people as being on the same team as us. So if enough people from your tribe were to post it out, I think it'd be believed pretty quickly.
Am I pronouncing it Mandalay?
That's Amanda. You can call her Amanda. She's my favorite follower, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah,
out there, she's been following forever.
That's an amazing question. Where? So obviously we've got somebody that's come out and said they saw like these giant shadow figures. He wasn't the first person to say this. So where have all these other stories come from?
There was some tech stuff come out. There was a person put like a big Twitter thread out, which was just a massive story about they said they were a person in there. They gave the same depiction of these black sort of shadowy like figures that they didn't walk. They just kind of teleported towards people. She also said something weird that its head could spin right round. No fingers, no toes. So like stumpy ethereal alien hands by the sounds of it. She said it was because it was teleport. They were sort of teleporting around. It was teleport from inside shops, outside of shops. And she said they didn't seem to have any interest in. They didn't seem worried about other people being around, and they didn't have any interest in sort of harming other people that were around them. That was the first
just walking on by, like
just come for a look. Yeah.
You know what convinced me, though, at least, I mean, I can't say I'm convinced, but what made me really interested is the way the guy in the witness that I was watching earlier, his interview, he goes, and you guys see the fat chicks and the old people when they were booking or whatever he said. And you go, okay, you got me, man. You convinced me that this is credible now. This is what I imagine would happen. And then people shooting back. I'm like, okay, this is America right here.
I seen a video of the guy watching that, and he started to laugh when the guy said fat chicks, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "You just laughed, bro. Everybody laughed. Come on, you have to say sorry that quick, dude. It's Twitter."
I'm just fat chicks and grandmas just booking it, and I'm just going, yeah, okay, that sounds about right. Yep.
I mean, the biggest question is, did a new pair of Jordans come out or something like that? Maybe the aliens wear Jordans. They always had to get them from there only. That guy said he was a Foot Locker, right? Didn't he? I think he said he was a Foot Locker.
I think so, yeah.
I'm just trying to find the original where he put it out.
Oh, he took it down, so you'll probably have to find it on somebody else's post because that post was only up for a couple of hours before he took it back down. Then,
so how many witnesses have come forward in regards of?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It's like this is something I've realized over the course of this weekend because of the Epstein stuff. is that when stuff seems to come out now on Twitter, it's just scattergun to the point where you can't tell what's real. I spent fucking ages on Twitter. All I wanted was like an accurate list of the names that had been like on the Epstein list, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then when there was one, it was like you could tell someone had just put like a who's who of like Hollywood celebrities together, and you go, well, that's kind of that's conspiracy porn. That's obviously not real. I mean, it might be real eventually, but not today. But and that's kind of the problem with social media, isn't it? And at least using social media as a way of trying to find anything out properly.
Yeah, it's been all over the place. Same thing. I try to find a list, and you got some people's lists that say, no, these are old, these are fake. And yeah, it's tough, man. It's kind of right where they want
got me. I reposted the Jimmy Fallon thing. That turns out to be 100% fake. And that was that there was so many people sharing that. And when you looked at the documents that his name had been brought up in, it looked legit. It was worded like the rest of the documents were. Oh no, sorry, not Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Kimmel, wasn't it?
Kimmel, yeah. I know what you meant.
Yeah. Well, just
one of the Jimmys.
Just so the Jimmy that wasn't on it understands that, like, I wasn't accusing him of being on it as well.
I can't find the. It could be just me, but I can't find the original of this guy coming out and saying what he saw.
I'll have to check if I downloaded it. I think I did, but yeah, it's hard to find. I mean, I think that a lot of this too is like, just what you mentioned about the Epstein list stuff as well. And I was looking at some of that, and it looked like people were just going through the court documents and just pulling every name out of the court documents, whether or not they were a victim or not, right? And it's like, man, this is like the problem is that maybe it's disinformation or misinformation, but it just makes it really hard to know what to believe in general about anything, right? And maybe that's the point, is that we just throw a bunch of shit out there, and it's like, okay, well, now you can never tell if anything's real, right? And that's a scary part, and just not to like go make it all about going back to teleporting planes. But, when I talk to people like Dave Rossi, even on the car ride we had back, it's like, this is the part where we worry about, like, this is why we're trying to get the actual science out there, because it gets to a point where it's like, you can't even disclose the stuff anymore. Like, we split the atom in the 40s. We dropped the atomic bomb in the 40s. Do we think that we've been doing nothing for the last 80 years? Like, no, we've been clearly advancing in science, but the public doesn't see any of it. We're still driving the same cars we were driving 40 years ago. So it's kind of like a question of, okay, well, how do you even go about disclosing this stuff when, like, we might have advanced to a level now where you wouldn't even recognize the technology, and it can't come out because people are just like, nope, that's fake. Everything gets debunked, So I think it becomes really difficult to discern fact from fiction.
Do you think it's something to do with the fact that we're just not designed for this type of communication? I think if I might have this completely wrong. I think centurions were called centurions because each centurion held like a control over 100 men, because they worked out that was the limit of what they could do, like interact with and form relationships with 100 people. And now there's just this like scattergun approach to where, I mean, Ashton, you're a really good example of it, actually, because you've been thrown in such a short space of time to where you've had like nobody listening to you to millions of people listening to you. And it must be a massive shock for something like that to happen.
Yeah, and I think that, this is why I constantly tell people I don't want people to look at me as some kind of truth, soothsayer or truth teller, right? It's like, I just want to present the evidence for people to learn how to think for themselves, because I think that that's just so important. But I also think the reality of the human condition is that people look for people they look up to tell them the truth and what have you. So with respect to the video or the case that we've been looking at here today related to, the Miami aliens, I hope I didn't let anybody down. I felt like, as somebody who's now in the UFO community, I have a duty to report on something that's like potentially the largest story of the year so far. And I think I tried to do it in a way where it's not like, hey, I'm all in on this, because, the reality is with these completely incredible claims, obviously need very strong evidence to get behind them. But I think people are interested in it, and I think that it shows this huge level of interest in a topic like this. I didn't expect, I think there's like 3 million views or something like that on the post I made this morning. I definitely didn't expect that, but it does come with a certain level of responsibility in order to not deceive people or mislead them in any intentional way, while still straddling the line of, okay, well, this is entertaining, and you are a person who people are looking to have this kind of information come out where they can vet it and what have you. So I mean, again, last thing I'll say is that I was thinking about this too when I was sitting there, getting ready to go on with Tim Pool, and I'm just like, man, I can't believe I went from 30 fake followers 5 months ago to 75,000 now, and what all comes along with that. I never would have expected this in my whole life. So I hope I don't let anybody down. That's all I really want to say.
I think there's a difference between putting something out to people and going, you should believe this, look at this because I'm telling you this is real, to just putting something out and going, I think this is interesting. I think that's the difference.
It's the amount of police there. What was it that Dave said in our chat? And I want really want him to make tonight, but he can't. But he said something really interesting about the police and the kids. And you said it to me in the car, and then I listened when I got home, and I'm like, I
think it was just the thing. Like there is that culture of everything that you see goes on TikTok. So there should be loads of videos of these fights on TikTok. There's
kids filming it.
Yeah,
like rather than them all running away, there would be so many people film. We've got one. I'm not going to show it on YouTube because I know YouTube doesn't like it when you show stuff like that. Somebody getting the fuck kicked out of them. But it's there.
I think it depends what brand of person. I think that matters.
Well, you got to think about this too, is like kids make mistakes all the time, in the sense of like even adults are recording themselves making crimes or doing crimes. Like people are stupid. And like kids are especially stupid, and they'll record everything and post it out there, not think about the consequences. So yeah, there should be a lot more videos from the kids for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah,
definitely. I've got the original account from the guy. If you want me to play it,
good man.
Go on, mate. Yeah, get that shared.
Bring it up. There's some music behind it, so I hope it doesn't affect.
What is it? What type of music is it? Something you recognize, or is it just like a chilled beat?
Yeah, just chill beat. We'll go for it, see what happens.
It's chill stop.
Or whatever.
Right, let's do this.
Next thing you know, you start hearing all this commotion out. So
this is themselves coming forward to say that there were aliens in the mall.
we happened to be at that mall. So we had Foot Locker or whatever. Next thing you know, you start hearing all this commotion outside. Sound like firecrackers or something. So I originally thought that they were shooting. Next thing I know, it's like crazy. Like we just see all these people running. Like I'm talking about moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, old people even move. I'm talking about moving. So my girl, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, fuck all that. We out. Like, I'm not gonna ask no questions. We just gonna follow the crowd. Next thing you know, real like gunshots start going off. So you know what I'm saying? Like we trying to follow the crowd, get out of there. I look back, no cap, yo. No cap. I look back. It looked like
on God.
Like
no cap, y'all.
Big ass shadow, but it was solid at the same time. Like a few shadows, but they were solid at the same time. And it almost looked like they was coming our direction, like they was chasing us, but they was disappearing and reappearing closer. So I'm like, yo, what? So we start really moving.
Now, does this not look very much like the shadowy creature he was describing?
I want the best part. Where's the best part about the old people and the fat girls? What the heck?
Dude, they had to go.
Hold on, guys. Sorry. Sorry. 2 seconds.
Let me down.
Nobody plays EVE Online. Get that out of here. Come on. What is this, 94? Come on.
How much money do you think it would take to make that guy recant his story? Just for my conspiracy-minded people out there. How much money do you think that would take?
$5,000.
Yeah, probably.
I'm serious.
I feel like he would definitely flip his story for $5,000.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's just in credit for Foot Locker.
That's true. That's in-store credit.
Maybe we're pushing.
No, $5,000 cash, 7 in-store credit. Come on.
We've all dabbled with the words Project Bluebeam, and I mentioned this in the car on the way home to you, Lee. That with how that whole shadowy if it's true, and it's not just about people going crazy, maybe the people went crazy as well. Maybe that happened as well. But maybe it was just a test. See how people react. You've seen them crazy holograms that people know about, and they're filming them, and they're like, "Oh, this is amazing! Yeah, look at this fantastic hologram they can do." What if they just wanted to test it and see how people would react?
But out of all the places, why a mall?
Because it's
Because
Florida, man.
it's a good public place to see how the public would react.
Yeah, but there must be so much CCTV cameras in the mall itself. Plus, regardless
But
if
if it was planned, those
Sure,
CCTV those cameras don't need to be turned on.
but the amount of people that were coming out the mall with cameras, okay, with you got adrenaline pumping through, you're not really focusing on the, like with your experience, Ice Cream, when you saw that object, your immediate reaction is not to bring your camera out, it's just to bloody
No.
run, like that guy said in
Yeah,
that
watch
video.
it,
I mean,
yeah.
okay, yeah, so I've got to take that in consideration as well. But the police, they've all got cameras, body cameras, and this is, I don't understand why any footage hasn't come out since.
Yes, and
but
you've got a great point there, mate. And why are we not seeing, like, outside every mall, and like busy streets now, there is cameras on every corner.
But why did the power go out,
what's
guys?
going on.
I mean, do we even know why the power even went out? I don't understand. Some sticks knocking the power out. That's not taking the power out, man.
No.
Unless you got in that panel. I tell you, a panel that's going to run that mall, dude, you hit it with a stick, you're going to be dead. So you ain't going to do much more.
Yeah, the thing that's bugging me about this is, like, that's a huge response. They had to have gotten a lot of phone calls, right? It had to be a lot of phone calls related to it. And if you're taking out the power in the mall, the idea there is, like, you're trying to disperse the crowd, right? I guess. But, like, that seems like a huge step. Like, that's something you do when you have, like, a mass shooter, right? Not when you just have to, like, riot, remove people. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess that's either what lets this kind of, conspiracy theory thrive is the response, or, maybe there is something more going on here that meets the eye that we just aren't privy to.
You should message Alex Jones and ask him what he thinks.
We'll weigh in on this maybe tomorrow. I mean, lots of people were talking about. Even Matt Walsh was making jokes about it on Twitter this morning. I mean, that's how I definitely had to jump in and get involved if he was getting in there.
I mean, I suppose the best way to look at this now is to take the idea of being an alien out. So what we've got access to on social media, can we prove that it was a fight? And we've got there's no video. We've got one video of it, but we've got no video from, like, independent people doing it. We've got no video of the people being arrested. We've got no videos of police interacting with said fighters. We've got no witness testimony of people that saw the fights or have been fought or ended up in hospital because of it. So we still don't know if anybody was hurt or there was any victims of this. So it's just as difficult to prove that it was a fight that broke out than it was an alien broke out.
yeah, absolutely. Plus the helicopter footage, if there was any helicopters, with that amount of police, like, that looks like a bloody school shooting, like a mass shooting for the amount of police cars that were there. So I would expect helicopters as well, but they're pretty much high-tech cameras. It's a mystery, guys.
I would have liked to have heard some of the scanner talk from the cops. I mean, prior to the event, like, you can hear dispatch. You can listen to that stuff. I wonder if anyone out there was recording at the time and actually got good dispatch audio of that. Because we would at least known what they were saying that it was. We would have got the call signs. Hey, it's a 1024, whatever that is.
They were jammed, weren't they? The police scanners were jammed.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, so convenient. Police jammer scan, no videos. Like, okay, I'm trying not to be conspiracy minded here, but
I know.
There's a lot of world star hip hop videos, and somehow they're missing all this. Like, I don't know, man. This was a couple of days ago too. So where the videos at?
We keep giving them the alley oop here, and they just won't dunk the ball, man. They just keep swatting it.
All I know is we got to FOIA some of this stuff. And the scanners, there's got to be some calls. Like, the calls to the police wouldn't be on the scanners, right? So what about the calls to the police? Are there, people talking about kids fighting with sticks or what?
What
and if
about
there
the
were
initial
aliens,
call?
what would they say?
There must have been an initial call before, like, the power went out or something
Right.
like that. Somebody has called the police. Clearly.
Dude, you would have had to have got, you would have had to have got, well, there could be 911 calls, but you would have had to have got at least an initial recording off the initial dispatch. Because if they don't know exactly what's going on, there's no reason to have that censored or anything like that. They're going to at least have that original, hey, we have an issue at the mall, Miami, blah, blah, blah. You have to have something there, right?
And even just the idea that how do you go, like, I know you said, someone said that it was an overreaction, but how does that overreaction happen? Like, I mean, I've no idea. I don't dispatch police cars, but I'd imagine that it would be a case of sending some, not just how many, all of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lee, do we know how long yet the event was? I mean, did we get just 4 or 5 cop cars and then the whole fleet decided they wanted to show up?
Well, that is
interesting.
Like I said, I saw it sort of right around the time it was happening. When I saw it was just that one video, of the road of cars. So it seems that was the initial response to whatever this was.
Even when there's like a mass shooting, it seems like there's a longer buildup too. Like there would have been more information before. People would have heard shots, there would have been more video. The buildup would have happened. It's just like, poof, it was there. That is weird, man. Yeah.
Have we got any more witness testimony to see? If
No,
is it just that one? Is it?
Well,
there was some text there, but
we do have kindly from.
You got a little grin on your face, Ollie. You're excited about this.
It's nice that Hermes TM, thank you so much for sending us this. We can carry on and get the fat grandma.
Can we interview the fat grandma?
Can we get her on? Fat chicks, old ladies, like I'm talking about moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, old people even move. I'm talking about moving. So, my girl, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, fuck all that. We out. Like, I'm not going to ask no questions. We just going to follow the crowd. Next thing you know, real like gunshots start going off. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to follow the crowd, get out of there. I look back, no cap, yo. No cap. I look back. It looked like a big ass shadow, but it was solid at the same time, like a few shadows, but they were solid at the same time. And it almost looked like they was coming our direction, like they was chasing us, but they was disappearing and reappearing closer. So I'm like, yo, what? So we start really moving. Next thing you know, we start hearing more gunshots. Like these dudes start firing at this shit. Get outside, mad police, all that. You know what I'm saying? The police is like trying to get all the people that ran out the mall. They like trying to detain these people, whatever. But me and my girl, we ended up just sliding past all that and everything like that. But a lot of people saying, why didn't nobody film and all that? When that type of shit is going on, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, like some paranormal, nobody thinking about no phone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going survival mode. But for real, they lying, yo. It was all them officers and all that. They was not there because of no kids fighting. It was really some like movie shit going on in there, yo. So, that's what it was, yo.
Get this guy the Oscar, man. Like, get him an
good
Oscar.
Liar, isn't he? If he's lying,
he is very believable. Get this guy the Oscar because he can definitely win it.
Ollie, that
about the paranormal stuff at the end there, and I mean, how does he not break into laughter if he's lying there? That's impressive.
Do we know anything about him? Like, is his TikTok popular or anything like that?
I think we know he can be bought for about $5,000, but
he took the in-store credit. Come on.
Yo, how I wake up, my shit jumping like the trap. Nah, but for real, like real shit.
That's a bag full of money.
I was trolling.
He's entertaining to listen to. I'll give him that.
I ain't never even been to Miami.
Never even been to Miami.
Yo, y'all be bugging. Yo, real shit though. Y'all stay away from them fucking aliens and all that. Y'all be safe out there. Yo, how I wake up.
It's an odd recant, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Considering like how concise the original story was, and how elaborate he like he explained it. That as his sort of "I'm out" sort of thing seems weird.
Yeah, but
Do
you
you
missed
think he was?
you missed the Easter egg though. He's wearing the bag that's got the money in it.
Yeah.
Just showing you that. That's the Easter egg. That was insane. It ain't real, but
He's got the emergency blinkers going on as well while he's sitting there filming his thing too. It's like, is the cops behind him right there when he's doing that? What's going on?
It's like, I'm getting out of here.
People want to know too, like, why are we reporting on this? Because it's fun as hell, man. Sometimes you gotta like, add a little bit of levity, even if it's fake. You gotta enjoy the little things in life. It's not every day that we get a Miami Mall alien invasion story. It's rare.
I like talk about the Peru aliens. Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I like the fact that he's been gracious enough to have an umbrella tattooed on the side of his face, so no one can say it's a different person. It's definitely the same person.
Yeah, no one's going with the body double on that guy. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Do you think he's jumping on the bandwagon just to get views?
Maybe.
It seems like a weird thing to do for views. Could be wrong, but I mean, that's a pretty weird story to come up with there for that, right? With the,
like I said, I'd have thought he'd have gone with aliens, given like the current climate with UFOs and disclosure and all that sort of stuff. If you were going to make up a fake story, you'd go with the that motherfucker isn't real on the plane type of story, or the Las Vegas shooter type story. I think the idea of having like teleporting shadow people is like, well, if anything, he's been fucking creative about it.
I mean, he's been watching a lot of UFO he's been watching a lot of paranormal shows.
Yeah,
because that's what we really start to speak about when we get down to the nitty-gritty, is the shadow things and what they are. So he's in the know.
I mean, I agree. I think you hear, when you even look into any of this, you hear about aliens versus shadow people. It's 10-1. Shadow people is like way deeper, into all that. For sure.
Yeah. So what I will give him that's different about it is like with him, like when you see shadow people stuff on films and like television shows and things like that, it's the creepy shadow person walking towards you and stuff. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. There might be something I'm not thinking of, but I do watch a lot of horror of teleporting shadow people. So it's not. He hasn't ripped it off something. Like it's not something that was in like last season of Stranger Things or something like that. So I can't think of where he's got the story from. I know it's not like he's just made up Dickens on the spot, but it's an interesting like story he's told.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, he also definitely needs some points for creativity too, coming up with that. I mean, and also it has to like fit in with this whole event that happened a few days prior, where people were already asking questions about that. Like I remember a couple of days ago when people were going, "What the heck is this huge response?" And I remember a couple of days ago thinking, "Oh, this must be some mass shooting or something." I mean, even the Iowa shooting the other day, I don't think had even a fraction of this response, and that's also being covered up, of course. But yeah, this one, it's like, man, I think people just can't get past this idea of all these cars out there, and can't get past this idea of like, I mean, if there's a better story, official story, I don't think it would ever have lifted off. But this idea that kids are fighting with sticks, I can't get past it, man. It's too weird.
And fireworks.
And only 4 people get arrested. And then this guy's talking about gunshots. It's like, okay, so were there actually gunshots or not? I mean, I don't believe the fireworks thing either. A lot of people mistake like 9mm rounds for fireworks. I mean, you guys in the UK probably don't know, but in America, it's not that uncommon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, 5 stars GTA is exactly what it was.
All they were missing was the tank, right?
And a SWAT team as well. Where's the SWAT team?
Yeah, the SWAT team. Right. Yeah, that's weird too, Nick, that you bring that up. Is you have all those cops and they never called SWAT, right? I haven't seen one SWAT truck the whole time. It seems like if you thought that was a mass shooting, you'd had SWAT there. Yeah, that's weird.
Well,
yeah, man.
People want to revive the story. There's a lot of people now. Some people are mad at me for giving up on the story too soon. I'm like, man, you really just can't win one way or another with these people.
No.
But no, to the people out there that want to revive the story, FOIA some of these cops. FOIA lets you get the 911 calls. There's probably some police scanner information before they went dead. FOIA the body cams. Like, this is such a big story that like I think that stuff will happen, right? And so there should be more information comes out one way or another. I mean, like I said, either way it goes, I'm going to either be posting videos of kids fighting with sticks or of 8-foot shadow creatures, one way or the other.
I know what I prefer.
With the fireworks thing, I don't know how many of you have been to like a bonfire at night, and when the fireworks go off, how long the actual smoke and that stays in the air. With all the lights that are going on there, I think you'd see if there's a lot of smoke up there, I can't see any.
That's fair.
Yeah, you think for that many cops, they were lighting mortars off like crazy, you know? Yeah. I mean, are we going to find paper from the debris from the fireworks? Are they going to show in the next couple of days the casings on the ground, where they've taped everything off so you can't come here? You always see that stuff in like news broadcasts. They show the bullet holes in the wall where there were shots. They love all that stuff, man. I haven't seen anything like that.
Even in the UK, like with the bad weather and bonfire nights, it's always winter. You get the smoke still lingers around, and it'll be windy, and it still lingers. I mean, those trees are pretty still. They're not blowing about. You let a load of fireworks off, you're going to still get some smoke around there, and the lights from the police is going to capture.
George wild about this. I hadn't thought about it before because I was just looking at like the strip there, like where the mall is. It's insane. All of the police cars that are there, and more are still turning up.
Yeah,
like it's not finished. There's still more.
I guarantee
that
one
fourth
of the
guy, that fourth firework letter offer. They got to make sure they catch him.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
I
the rest
guarantee
of Miami.
Well, he's got the sparklers, so we really got to get him.
I just can't get over all those cars, man. That's so many police cars. This is like got to be a literal every single car gets called in, right? Like, oh, some people are getting robbed and murdered across the street. No, forget about it. We got to get these kids fighting with sticks.
Correct.
This is priority number one.
Yeah.
My lad.
No matter what the former chief said, this is definitely, if what they're saying is true as a story, it's definitely an overreaction, man, without a doubt.
Like you say, even like the flashlights, like they were looking for something as well. It's I like it. I want more. I just want more of it. That's what.
I know. I just want to say that this is a really entertaining story, and I think it's the perfect intersection of ufology and conspiracies, honestly, because it's one of those situations where the story that's out there doesn't make any sense, right? And it opens the door for these alternative theories to come in. And we've had other stories of these tall alien beings recently, like the the Vegas kid case, right? It's just a perfect storm, honestly. And I think that's why it got so much traction right away. If it is fake, that would explain why. And if it's not fake, then I think the big question is, what would it take for people to even be able to believe at this point? Like that's the big kind of thing I want to talk about is like, I don't think there's like nothing at this point that people would believe to be real related to aliens, showing up. Like I was joking in the car ride back from Tim Pool, and it's the right audience where I was saying like, even if Joe Biden were to have a video with a meeting with an alien on the front lawn of the White House, like more than half of America would be sure that it's fake. Maybe like 75%.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
So,
I reckon it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I reckon.
I just tweeted this. Sorry, Nick.
Sorry, carry on.
Can you read it for us? There we go.
It's basically about the power going out. That can't be right. 60. Am I reading that right? 61,290 homes without power. 30%.
I can't read it. It's too blurry for me.
I'm gonna put it up on my Twitter. I'll retweet it now.
You see the date on that tweet on the bottom right? 1/1/24. That was right after the incident. Huh. So did the guy who made that witness statement, did he just read that and come up with that? Now this is actually it's kind of intriguing me again. I thought that the whole 8-foot, 10-foot alien thing was brand new as of today, but it seems like it's been out there since the 1st of January.
No, this is what I saw like when it was first going down. But again, it's one of those things that was so odd and so crazy. I just kind of passed it by. I was more interested in the fact that there was loads of police cars. You know, I was more, like I said. I mean, I thought it must have been some sort of shooting at first.
So we've got like witness claims they saw creatures or beings walking at the mall. Black helicopters are now also on the scene. Then we've got still no flights going or coming at Miami International. Only one PD helicopter patrolling the area. Then we've got 61,290 homes without power, 30% of the area. And then this guy's tweeting out, yes, they cut the power. Multiple people claim they saw 8 to 10 foot aliens or very tall zombies. And it caused shoppers panic.
I bet, yeah.
They're now black helicopters. And everything
I
is
love
blocked
that.
off.
I love that line of thinking, what were they? Well, we think there were 7 to 10 foot aliens or zombies, but they'd have to be tall ones.
The zombies part's pretty weird. Why is that included in there? Why do they have to be zombies?
I definitely prefer aliens to zombies.
I wonder if it has a connection to that bath salt incident years ago where that guy got his face ate off and they said there were zombies going around Florida. You guys remember that?
Wild.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and I thought, oh, well, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
because it was right at the height of like the zombie hysteria for things
Yeah,
as
it
well.
was.
And
Yeah, it was.
I
wasn't
think
it? Yeah.
that joke, or like what is supposed to be a joke, I take it probably is a joke with the zombie preparedness plan for the US, which came out around about the same time. And I was there thinking, oh no, but I'm glad I live on a small island in the middle of the sea.
Yeah, zombies can't swim, Lee. You're all right.
No, but they can just walk, can't they? Because they're dead. So they get here eventually, and they'd be hungry.
Yeah, they'd be bloated. They've been in the sea too long. You know, they
Oh, they'd
couldn't
be
move.
slow. Yeah, they'd be
Yeah,
slow.
they'd be slow as shit.
Mm.
You'd probably get eaten as well. You know, on the way over. There's a lot of shit in the sea.
If we only knew what was really in the sea, you know?
Yeah, that's
I wonder. Like, I mean, it stands to reason now that regardless of whether this is some sort of social contagion through social media, or if this is some sort of like, because I still feel that there's a slow ramp up of like crazy stuff going on since the 2017 like UFO article in the Times. I wonder is this more like are we gonna continue this ramp up now through the year? Like you could argue that this is like slightly more meat on the bone to this crazy thing, because you do have a video of something that looks like it's got something walking around outside. So do we ramp up now until we see some sort of like proper like creature thing? Like, you know, like I always think if it does come, it's going to come like the Signs thing, you know, like that that famous thing in Signs where you see it dart
My
across
favorite
the,
scene of all time. Yeah.
Yeah,
as Ice Cream well knows.
Oh, I love that movie, man.
Yeah, but I do think if we get something, that's the first glimpse of something we see.
They won't release it. I guarantee they won't release the footage in any stretch of the imagination. It'll just be like a blurry thing that we keep on seeing continuously throughout ufology, especially last year. There's always like something very blurry, pixelated, can't work out what it is.
Yeah, I do think it's very easy though to look at what we've got now and go, well, it's always been like this, but it hasn't. Like the amount of stuff we've got like now, it is more like it used to be just like what we'd see on the History Channel and things like that, you know, and these horrible UFO documentaries where I remember getting so burnt out on watching documentaries like that, because you'd watch the same documentary and then you'd realize, well, I never learn anything. There's never anything, you know, to gain from watching any of these things. But I don't know. I've felt for a while that whatever is driving this narrative, whether it's like controlled or uncontrolled, it feels like it's got a destination that it's going to.
I mean, do you feeling like it's a buildup though, like in a sense of they could almost use this as a boy who cried wolf situation in their favor, though, where every time this happens, people believe less and less, and then just in case something does go down, they know, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know the interesting thing I've got from it is the fact that it happened at the same time as the Epstein
I
document
know.
got released.
Yeah.
But this gives it more validity for me, because if it was something that had been done to try and like sweep the Epstein stuff under, it would be covered, and it's not being covered, and it's the perfect bullshit story to like fill like a wacky story on the evening news instead of talking about Epstein. It's the perfect thing to do, and it's not being done outside of social media.
You
Yeah,
know,
the
right
media
there,
wasn't there. Isn't that also weird? Like, you would expect all the media to be there filming it, watching kids running
Yes.
out of the building, and there's nothing at all. Like, why was the media not there either? It's pretty bizarre, man.
For the intro that I did, I found that so difficult to find some proper media that was right there, and that was the only one I could find at the time.
Well, it was 100 police cars. No need to send the media out there. Let's go do something else. Like what? Like what else is going on? Right? That's got to be like the major thing that was happening that
Yeah.
night.
When have you ever seen the media skip out on a possible shooting? Like it's never going to happen. Yeah.
The other thing too I want to comment on is what you mentioned about watching these UFO documentaries, and there's, I don't know, I think Lou Elizondo's coming out with a new book or whatever. It's like, I'm just going to say, these are the grifters that are out there, right? Like just recycling the same content over and over and over again. I watch these documentaries and it's like, oh, there's going to be a new documentary. It's going to show the same DOD Navy videos from 2018. And then we're going to have one new 5 seconds of a new clip, which is going to be like, some super out of focus light or whatever. It's like, man, no wonder people are thirsty for something like this. It's like, we just see the same stuff over and over again. It's never anything new.
Are you talking about the TMZ trailer?
No, I mean, I'm talking about multiple different things. Like Lou Elizondo's coming out with a book, but he's going to redact a bunch of it. Like, why the hell are you doing that?
That is weird.
It's called editing. It's because you edited didn't want those parts in.
It's clearly a gimmick. Like, it's just sad. And then like you got Jeremy Corbell, who said he's coming out with some new video or documentary. It's going to have a few seconds of new video in it. It's like, man, I've only been in this game 5 years or so, and I haven't even really been in the game at all. But I've seen some of these things. It's always the same thing over and over, where it's like, oh, okay, well, someone's going to tell you a fantastical story that they're not going to have anything for, or we're just going to show you the same videos that we've already shown you before. And, it's great, I guess, for new people who haven't seen any of this stuff before, but it's like, it feels like they have no content. And so they just keep repackaging the same content over and over and over again, which even to some degree, like I go back to the MH370 case on it, and I kind of wonder if I'm going to run out of content at some point. But even if I do, it's like, fine, okay, well, then I'll just move on to something else, or, I'll repackage that in myself into like, I don't know, a book or something and be done with it. But I don't want to be one of these people who's like constantly repackaging the same material over and over again,
Dude, I know the feeling. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, like when you look at Lou, like the redaction parts, that's just a long-term game plan. When you have someone like Lou Elizondo, who's not involved in the government anymore, if he were to put out a book and reveal all the secrets, he's old news in a month, and he can't continue the process. I mean, if you know everything about somebody, you kind of move on. Who's the next guy? And he's not going to want that spotlight to go away.
Well, and to some degree, like I would agree with you on some aspects. The other aspect I would say is that I don't think anybody who is ever an intelligence agent is ever out of the game. That's kind of what I've come to learn in this, is that, you get paid for doing certain things that help, the intelligence community one way or another. And then the other part of it is like, he obviously can't say certain stuff. I would say when it comes to somebody like him, he's only saying what he wants people to hear, and he's probably hiding at least 50% or 75% of what he really knows. And maybe some of it's for good reasons. I can't judge a guy's motivations, without especially ever talking to him. But from what I've kind of learned going into the MH370 case and the advanced technology related to it, I'm 100% convinced that technology is real. And what that means for people like, let's just say, Lou Elizondo, maybe even David Grush, is that a part of their mind might be like, they don't want it to come out for national defense purposes. They can't let it come out because they have NDAs. And if they were to speak about any of it, they'd be going to prison, right? So it's almost like, as I've said a lot, true disclosure can only come from us. The people that have no strings on them are going to be the people that don't have NDAs, the people that are doing what they call, I guess, open source intelligence, right? Where they're like taking videos and stuff that are either declassified or leaked, and they're revealing that capability without any limitations whatsoever. So I hope that from what I've done, more people will come out and start to do that kind of stuff. And even let's take this case of the, alien invasion in Miami. We need a good hashtag for it, guys. Like, there's nothing that compares to Ripple Moon, but we need something.
Ripple Moon.
Because people can literally FOIA this stuff, right? We can get to the bottom of it. We don't have to be lazy about it and wait for people to report it. We can FOIA those body cams. We can FOIA those 911 calls. And we can figure out, is there something anomalous going on here? Or is it really just a giant, psyop or whatever you want to call it?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a new baseball team, doesn't it? The Miami Aliens.
Miami Shadow Aliens. Yeah, we need it. Someone out there will come up with something good. Chat, it's up to you guys. Come up with a good hashtag for us.
Don't ask that. I mean, that last time we did that, we ended up with Queer for Greer.
Yeah.
That's
still
still
trending
too.
Still trending, yeah.
Still trending.
Nick, you mentioned about blurred footage and things like that, and it got me thinking about a conversation that me and you had, Lee. I think on Thursday morning when I was driving to work about 4chan and when they took.
Can we just caveat here that we don't travel every morning to work, because you're making us sound an awful lot closer than we actually are. It's just Ollie can't travel on his own, and he rings me every morning.
I need to speak. Yeah. Feel free to ring me when I'm traveling. Like we the 4chan thing was quite crazy, and I'm just gonna bring something up now and share the screen. If you try and find what they put on 4chan, what went up on 4chan, the internet's a mess. It's just full of shit.
Only time in the history of the 4chan went down, wasn't it?
He got. What was the story exactly, Lee? Because you're probably going to know it better than I do.
There is reportedly somebody came on one of the things. I don't really use 4chan. I don't really understand it, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. And somebody put apparently a picture of a reptilian alien stood next to a tree, and it was up for seconds, and then the whole site went down, and then when the site came back up, that was gone. And ever since then, we have been left with like that one. That one there was the picture that was.
This
put
is
up
apparently the fake one, and this was the real one.
That's not fooling anybody, is it? See, the thing that gets me with that one is there's no tree in it either. Like the whole thing of this was that it was like next to some sort of like Joshua tree looking thing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and so there's no tree in that one. So I've always thought, and like that looks like a CGI thing.
Yeah,
I don't understand how that's fooling anybody. But I just think it's interesting that 4chan went down. But again, 4chan is 4chan, and its whole purpose in life is to create stuff that happens on 4chan and then penetrates into the rest of the internet, and it's has an effect. So if that's exactly what you would want something that you did on 4chan to do. So maybe it was coupled with the people that were running it as well. Like, look, we're going to slip this out. We're going to take the site down, then we're going to whip it back out and watch the world go crazy. But it's dead interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how someone would ever get anything out of those secure facilities or wherever this information and stuff is. It seems like they'd strip you naked before you walked out, the full search. You know what I mean? It would have to be something ridiculous. So you couldn't get a thumb drive out of there. It couldn't be easy.
Do you know what? The only thing I would say to that is, remember what was his name? Was on Alien Scientists podcast not so long ago. English guy, hacked NASA.
Carol McKinnon.
Yeah,
McKinnon. Yeah.
So basically, I mean, he ran some software to just check like stock passwords on those computers. So he basically broke into NASA by using like admin and password as a password. So if there's that level of security or that level of negligence, then I can see Edward Snowden did it. Edward Snowden disappeared, ran off to Russia and dropped the whole was it Prism, the thing that the security thing that he lifted the lid on.
I mean, do we know how he actually got that stuff out? I mean, I agree with you, like, with McKinnon. I guess I'm thinking more modern times.
I
Back
think it
then
was
they
a
were
thumb
probably
drive,
loose.
wasn't it? Wasn't it a thumb drive?
Was it?
I think so. I could be making that up completely.
But he said he didn't find anything alien, right? He said he didn't never notice anything going through all those records. So if there was anything there, it's gonna have to be deeper than that, And think about that, how far that would have to go. Oh my God, dude.
I would love somebody, maybe somebody who's on this this podcast tonight, to investigate the 4chan thing to get to the bottom of it. I think that was crazy, and it's the fact that like instantly, like the next day, there was so many images all over the internet, so many. Like it's like, why would you? How quickly people went to work with that to make so many.
The interesting thing with everyone making those images was it was almost like AI image was a thing already.
Yes,
it's true. People were busy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see out of the list of all those photos the one that I thought was the one, but it was kind of same idea, but it was kind of black and white and half scanned. It was very similar, but it had the tree in it. Couldn't find it though when you were showing them.
I don't think any of us know which one was the one.
No, we definitely don't. Because what I remember is the guy said he'd seen it and got like half of a scan or tried to hit print screen before it pulled down. He didn't get it. So very similar to the McKinnon story, kinda,
Ashton's hard at work.
Ashton, did you see that? Did you see that image back in the day? Did you ever hear about that 4chan stuff?
No, I thought the 4chan thing you were talking about was the 4chan leaker who talked about crash retrievals. I was doing on a tangent though. I was on the stream, I think right before I flew out here to go see Tim, I was going through the EBO scientist post, which I didn't realize a lot of people didn't know about that. But these are the kinds of leaks in general. Maybe, I don't know if, honestly, everything's been quote unquote debunked, but these are the kind of leaks that I think are interesting that people should look into. People aren't going to like what I'm going to say next, but maybe even more so than stuff that David Grush says. Because as we've talked about with David Grush, with Lozano, these guys have NDAs, right? What we need leaked information out there. And I think it's out there 100%. And the two that I've even been talking about, going back to the Tony Merkel podcast that I did on the confessionals, was EBO Scientist, which was on the Alien subreddit, and then the 4chan leaker, who was somebody that just posted on 4chan. As far as I know, both of them got all their stuff completely deleted, which if you think about what it takes to get deleted from 4chan, pretty impressive. The guy who posted on the EBO Scientist guy who posted on the Alien subreddit got his account deleted in real time while he was answering questions to people. And this stuff can now only be found because people save the posts and that, don't exist anymore and put them into different mediums. But it's very compelling because you look into it and it's like these stories take a lot to hoax. Now, granted, we look at what we just saw today and it's certainly not impossible, right? If that was a fake story they came up with, you can, give the guy the Oscar or whatever. But with respect to the EBO Scientist, if people aren't familiar, this was a post that was a leak that was posted on Reddit, not my favorite website. But when they dug into it, you find out that a lot of the details, like it lines up with ufology. It also expands upon this idea. It was a full alien body physiology. They even talk about the labs where they're being stored and the lab equipment, which I mentioned on my stream. I have past experience in a prior job with working with that type of equipment or setting that type of equipment up. So there was a lot to do with it that's very credible. And if that stuff's real, like that's just blowing the lid off of disclosure. So those would be the types of things I'd like to see people look into. The problem is it's impossible to verify, right? If that person was deleted, then they got a knock on their door and they got, disappeared and hauled off to, somewhere where they're not going to be seen again, probably.
Well, that's what the MH370 stuff has made me think. When you found the guy we think leaked the videos in the first place, and like his court case thing said that there was 2 videos leaked onto the internet because that were out in the public domain now, and I've always had it in my head that if something like that was to go out, it would end up being scrubbed or something. But the idea that some of the stuff might be out that we've already seen, Yeah, we've already seen that's been like debunked 1,000 times, or even not debunked, just seen and forgotten that could be 100% real, and we've no idea about it. Because the first thing that jumped to my mind was we had Jon Stewart on talking to us about the alien interview video from the 90s. And it was early 2000s, either late 90s, early 2000s.
He's coming back on, isn't he?
He is coming back on. Yeah. I think next month sometime. And that was supposedly going to be shown to people in Congress during this thing, or it was passed around Congress from people saying, "Look, this is."
I think he'd sent it to Tim Burchett, yeah.
No, not him, but like there was people saying that inside Congress it being passed around to people as if to say, like, "Look, this is out, but this is like legit."
Yeah, they were watching it supposedly.
Yeah, and like that's wild. The idea that we could have stuff already out there, like disclosure could be on the internet on YouTube now, and we've just passed it by.
Do you think that's likely? Yeah. Do you think that's likely?
I think it's certain almost at this point. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there in general where it's like, it's been debunked. I mean, this was the exact story for the Navy DoD FLIR videos. I mean, those were out there on the internet for, I think, almost 9 years. They were actually conclusively debunked by the same people that have, debunked the MH370 videos. And then one day the government comes out and says, nope, they're real. And then those same debunkers are still debunking them, even after they've been admitted to be real. So this is the part where it's like, we can't just assume everything's fake out there. I mean, you can, but the reality is some of the stuff out there probably is real. Now, how do we discern the stuff that's real from the stuff that's not? That's the challenge, right?
I think everyone has to keep in check normalcy bias as well, because it's so easy you can spend, and because I've definitely done it, like you can spend hours looking at something, hours listening to different people speak about something, and then one thing post comes up and said, actually, it was an umbrella that was caught in the wind and the sun reflected off it and it made it look like a flying saucer. And you go, oh, right. Oh, well, I'll carry on with the rest of my day. And you don't think for a second, well, hang on, I haven't put the debunk through the same scrutiny that I was putting the original footage through.
Yeah, we never do, right? The debunks never get held to the same level of scrutiny, not even close. I mean, the way it goes is you can have a mountain, let's just say 14 pages of evidence of something being real, including a leaker. And then you have people go, well, nope, I found some cloud photo that seems to match. It's been conclusively debunked now, right? Like it's sad, but it's really, I think, the human condition and confirmation bias. Like people are going to believe and they're going to gravitate towards even any tiny amount of evidence that confirms their preconceived notions. And this is something we probably have to break down if we really want to have true disclosure, and we want to get to a point where people can accept that flying saucers might be real and aliens might be real. Because as I just mentioned, even those DoD Navy videos, even after the fact, you've got people still going out there saying they're fake. You've got Mick West going and saying, oh, it's an airplane flying away, not rotating right, even though you can just look at it and tell the rotation doesn't match the background. And you've got the corridor crew, even after they've been confirmed, still trying to make videos like dunking and making fun of the DoD Navy videos. It's like, I mean, people just aren't living in reality anymore, right? They're just living in whatever make-believe they want. They're pretending like humankind is as advanced as we're ever going to achieve, and we're never going to learn anything more, right? As opposed to thinking like, maybe we're just cavemen who only just figured out fire, and we have a really, really, really long way to go, right?
Yeah, compared to the rest of the universe, I agree. I think we're new. I think there's millions, billions of years civilizations have been around, man. I think the universe is so much older than what we think it is. Yeah.
No, not just 10,000 years old. That's about it. That's everything.
Well, Ashton, I'm glad Nick's on actually with you, because when we were first met Nick, he was speaking about we did a show about the stuff that was happening in World War II when it comes to UFO technology, and we spoke about the Foo Fighters, and it's funny because you've always said that wherever that footage is, it's our footage. It's us that did that. It's us that did the disappearance of MH370. Now, Nick's been investigating like Foo Fighters and stuff like that for a long time. And you've said, Nick, haven't you, that that is technology that they had, that they was working on back then with things that they would send up to the planes.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that they most likely had some sort of device. Now, looking at reports from what balls of light are doing, but these Foo Fighters, what have been described, had like glowing tails and would sit on the edge of the aircraft. And the idea is that these were transmission frequency probes that will sit on the edge of the Allied bombers, and it will give off a very strong magnetic field, and it will disrupt the cockpit recording systems, and so the cockpit will fail, causing it to crash. So instead of shooting these planes down, they'll just send these probes up, and they'll do their thing, and it will just make the engines fail. So the whole plane is just out of action and causing it to crash. I think there is a couple of reports. I've got a massive book to go through with all these reports in there, but it does allude to that. Some reports down in aircraft potentially. But Ashton, what I noticed when you first came on Alien Addicts, that you were describing the orbs itself as like a torsion physics, that like almost like a Victor Schauberg sort of way. Now that's actually the Bell project, the Die Glocke. I don't know if you ever looked into it. It's a device that the Germans made in World War II, and it's to do with torsion physics, with reversing mercury-based plasma and shooting electricity into it. But the way you described it almost sounds like how the Bell would operate.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people have mentioned that. And honestly, months ago, I would have said that this is all nonsense. I would have been like, oh, this is just conspiracy theory. But now it's like, I wonder how far back it goes. I truly think it goes back to Tesla. And then I think that, and what the Nazis were experimenting, sure, absolutely believe that they could have been experimenting with this type of technology, maybe early prototypes of it or not. I don't know. And I think that my personal view, what I've come to conclude at least, is that a lot of the UFOs we're seeing there, especially as they increase over time, is because we've been able to produce them. And I say this with the knowledge of knowing people that whether or not people believe, like I think some people today were, trying to poo-poo on Dave Zed, Dave Rossi, when he was talking on Tim Pool and saying, oh, this is mumbo jumbo. It's like, well, I'll tell you this, there's really rich people out there who don't think it's mumbo jumbo, who are hiring people to build advanced technology for them in various aspects that, they're paying them a lot of money to build it. So if it's mumbo jumbo, boy, a lot of people believe it and they're paying a lot of money for it. And it's not poor people out there. It's really rich people who are in the know, the elite people who are in the know. And I've just come to the conclusion there's just two classes of people in the world. The people that are in the know, who are very wealthy. And then you have all the rest of us serfs who are out there who are just completely blinded to this type of technology that's out there, blinded to the history about how it's become around. And it's pretty easy to hide, it seems, right? Even like, let's just imagine for a second that the scenario today was real with these aliens or whatever in Miami. Like, look how easy it would have been to make it go away. Like, people don't want it to be real. They're willing to just discredit it in any way they can, right? So, I think that hiding is easy. That's the sad part.
Yeah, the reason why I brought that up then, Ashton, is like when you talk about like really rich people getting involved. Have you seen? So you've obviously spoke to Stephen Greer on Twitter Spaces, but you've got Bob Bigelow, Bob Bigelow,
Bobby,
Linda Moulton Howe. You've got Stephen Greer. Who else you got there? The list is down below, but you've got these people all with the Rockefellers.
Yeah, and Stephen Greer knows, man. I mean, he knows. Now, I don't know about all the Bijou coming from the Andromeda Galaxy, but, if you can teleport a plane, you can't really rule it out because that allows for the faster and light travel that we need. But, yeah, I mean, he's definitely connected with the right people. And I don't think anyone can deny that, especially during the Clinton era, like he was getting fed information, whether or not that information's disinformation or real information, not sure. But, Robert Bigelow is a billionaire, too. Bigelow Aerospace is one of these big third-party contractor companies as well. So, again, what I would say is people that don't believe it, it's like, man, look at the rich person next to you, right? And, look at what they're looking into as well. So I think that you'll find that there is stuff out there that the serfs have no idea about. And the people that are rich and in the know, they have no incentive to make that known to the public. Like, why would they bother with that? It increases their power if the people don't know about what's really possible.
Yeah, the technology's there. I mean, I think for sure. I think you've had too many sightings for too long, man. And I think you have too many people that want to, and like I like Stephen Greenstreet a lot. I think there's stuff that he says that's interesting. But his kind of my thing with him is that he only wants to look at the last 6 or 7 years of the topic. And it's like I agree with you. The last 6 or 7 years, there's a lot of BS that's going on. We can't throw out the other 80 though. Like you can't just throw out the other 80 by saying maybe people just kind of mistake some things. I mean, why we have to dig deeper into those cases more, and you have to kind of flesh that out more before you can just throw it out. I don't know. The current like ultra skeptic, I call it ultra skeptic side of it. It's too shallow. It's way too shallow to come to that conclusion at the very end of the day.
It seems to be infectious as well, this ultra skepticism, and I don't get where that's come from. It seems to have only come. But I get the idea of not trusting the government. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And the day I stopped believing in aliens was when the U.S. government started to tell me I should do. But it doesn't mean that all of the stuff that these people were looking at for a while is nonsense. It just means the answer might be different, but there's still something of substance there.
Yeah, I think it comes from social media, personally. I mean, I think that I'm just going to poo-poo again on Reddit. I mean, I think that Reddit is ground zero for disinformation. And it's partially intentional and partially non-intentional, just the nature of how the platform's designed, where it leads to gatekeeping behaviors, where it leads to everybody trying to one-up everybody else and everybody trying to have this homogeneous mindset where they all must believe the same thing. And if you don't, then you're an outsider, right? And I think that's a very dangerous thing, because then it leads to what we talk about, where everybody's trying to ridicule the other person. And the way that what that leads to, exactly the type of gatekeeping we see, the exact type of skepticism we see, where no one can believe anything, and only the people that get upvoted or whatever are the people that are crapping on everybody else, right? And then when you have the censorship coming over the top, or especially political censorship, then it really creates this divided atmosphere. That's why early on, my goal is to try to create unity, because I think if you would just get rid of social media entirely, just wipe it off the planet, right? Now people have to have real conversations with real people. You're a lot less likely to just try to gatekeep somebody else's beliefs, right?
Yeah, years ago, I haven't messed with Reddit in probably 8 or 9 years at least, because all there is to do is one up people. You ever try to have a real conversation? It's not even a thing. You're either the dumbest person in the world or you're the best person in the world, and there is no in between. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. People talking to each other is a strange thing now. Like I'd almost argue that the only like long form conversations now that happen between like the majority of long form conversations that people hear that they can kind of be involved in is when they listen to podcasts now, because it doesn't seem to happen like in people's social lives anymore.
Yeah,
it's almost like we've been put into categories, isn't it?
Yeah.
To a certain degree, yeah. But like you said, everyone's trying to one each other up. Like who's got the most toils wins to a certain degree. You know what I mean? It's not good.
I think it's almost like the best way to win. For whoever's trying to control it.
I think we've also entered a world where people attach their identities to everything. You know, regardless of what it was, whether you like UFOs or whether it's your sexuality you do it to, or it's your football team, or it's your politician, that becomes your identity. So the minute that starts being discussed, it's a direct attack at you rather than an attack at what should just be an interest or an institution.
Yeah, I wonder, Lee, if a lot of it is, it's like, let's be honest, it's hard to accomplish your dreams, man. It's tough. The mass majority probably won't do it. And you get a lot of people that, when you try to fill that space, right? And so you feel that connection. If you put it on that topic and somebody threatens it, it's like if you had something else going on, you probably wouldn't care as much, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it just seems that way.
I think there's probably an argument as well that a lot of people won't even try and like do that. We're sucked into time vacuums when it comes to content, and it's kind of two-faced saying this, considering like we make hours of content to suck people's lives away by watching our content. So we're all kind of doing it, but there's so much things that people can like live a completely unfulfilled life without realizing they're doing it, because
Yeah.
they're constantly entertained by other things, and then before you know it, like the best thing you've accomplished this month is you've won a couple of games of Fortnite.
That's the truth.
You won
So
your
that-
first game at Fortnite, Lee.
Yesterday. Yeah, that's
it's like you're excited, and then you see the kid who's 14 who's got like 1 million wins since the game came out, and you realize, oh, okay, I'm nothing compared to this person.
yeah, but
It's
that
like
that didn't matter, because my son looked up at me, and you would have thought I was parachuted into Gaza and sorted the whole situation out myself. Like, he was so impressed with
right.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a reality check, man, for a lot of people, realizing that you're not the top of the food chain, and there's always somebody better than you. And once you can accept that, you kind of find your own happy medium, right? You see where you
And
fit
just for
in,
that
and
day,
that's
my
that.
son knew it was me.
Yeah, and I think that, I've learned a lot from, let's call it, just this meteoric rise in influence in general. And I think I see why a lot of people are afraid to speak, especially on social media, people that are hiding behind their alts or whatever, and they only make posts and never reply. But I'm kind of going the other direction with it. I like to get super parasocial with it, just like reply to everybody. Like, hey, you sent a message to me. Okay, I'm going to send you back. I'm going to reply to you. But no, in all seriousness, I think that social, like what you guys do with alternative media, this is what I think is really important, because it breaks down a lot of that gatekeeping. It's like we can have a niche where we can talk about this type of stuff with like-minded people, and people can watch who are interested in it. And if haters want to watch too, great. You know what? Probably the reason why the haters are watching is because deep back in the back of their minds are going, is there maybe something to this,
I think we get more, or at least I speak to more, and it's like, it's definitely like people I know that are around me as well. There's more like tweeners now than there ever was. There's more people that will listen to shows like this that would never have listened to a show like this before. And I think that's kind of like, that's why I worry about the like alternate media going into this next election cycle, when you consider what happened before with like the big YouTube purge where like loads of people disappeared. I do worry that the more ground that mainstream media lose is the more dangerous, even like channels like this are, which is like relatively like modest channels, they become more and more dangerous, because the previous control structure is becoming so weak.
It's dangerous, man. I mean, I think that one thing that I've learned for sure is how much people base their whole identities on their favorite streamer or YouTuber. That just freaks me out, man.
It's true.
Like the amount of people who get like just offended by me like saying that the Corridor crew are idiots is just like, wow, man. Like, if you're basing your personality off two dorky looking morons who are sitting on a couch, like, you need to rethink your life decisions. Like, I'm just concerned that that's the avenue we're going. And like you said, it's, the Zoomers, it's the young kids as well, who are just watching YouTube all day, right? And I go to my aunt, who's like an 80-year-old woman who's sitting on a couch, who still watches the nightly news, right? And she's never heard of anybody on YouTube, not a single person, right? That just shows the complete disparity between the younger generation and the older generation. You think the government doesn't know about that? Of course they know about it. Of course they're going to be influencing these major YouTubers, the social media sites that they can control the message on. Like, the government's dumb, but they're not that dumb. So they know that all they have to do is whisper in somebody's ear. And the one thing, the final note I'll say, is that from going on these podcasts, what I realized too is that everybody knows one another, right? Like, I went on, the one podcaster out there, and then he's best friends with the other podcaster, and they're all best friends with the Corridor crew. And it's like, and it's kind of the same, not the same as that, but, when I'm talking to Tim Pool, like, he knows Ian Crossland, and like these guys know like people like even like Joe Rogan, etc. It's like, man, this is like a really small niche, as much as it seems separate, all these people kind of know each other as well. So if you were to think about what it would take to control them, not very little. And I'll just go ahead and say, CIA, if you want to, spin us over, Alien Addict and I, we're still waiting for those checks, but yeah.
Just give us a bag, just a bag like your man in the red hoodie. That's all we need.
There is a stark difference, though. I mean, if you're like, I'm 33, man, and I still remember the world without the internet, and it blows my mind to. I heard a kid last year, was probably 18 or 19. I was playing Destiny 2 with, and he was like on his phone in between games, and he's like, "Oh God, look at this guy's life. You know, he's got this going on, this at this party." And I said, "Yeah, you're missing the part where they were just screaming and yelling at each other in the car before they got out. They really don't think about that, though." We do. We know that there's a behind the scenes, and you think, well, they must just know that too, that it's fake. They don't, dude. They think it's real. It'll blow your mind.
Well, I will say, After Tim Pool was pretty awesome today. I mean, I was hanging out with some really fun, cool people who were really open-minded and playing poker with people. I mean, that was actually pretty awesome. Not going to lie. But to your point, yeah, you know, I was talking to somebody at my work who was a lot younger. You know, she was just out of college, working, you know, with me in my job. And, you know, her idea of like the best life was like being a TikTok celebrity or whatever like that. Right. And I'm going, ooh, that's the last thing I want. You know, people think that I'm lying when I say that. It's like, no, because I realize it's not all the glamour that it's made out to be. These people show you the best front when they're in front of the camera. Right. But they have all the same problems that everybody else does in life. And sometimes those are even exponentiated because of their, fame or e-fame or whatever.
Yeah, I think it must be weird to be put under a microscope as much as that. It's like, especially for the MX370 stuff, when essentially you just kind of like crack on and do your thing, and then there's all the pylons and stuff that happen with things like that. And it like you were saying before about putting the video out of like the alien thing walking outside and saying, "Oh, you upset these people because you shouldn't be covering that," and things like that. There should never be a situation where it's weird for somebody to try and put a picture of an alien walking outside a supermarket. That should always be like an instant retweet.
Have you guys seen Living Witness? Got another one.
Ooh, another one. Let's go.
This guy looks like a trustable chap.
This morning, and I was over there when all that shit went down at the mall, you know, and there was some stuff going on. Yeah, there was some teenagers involved, and I'll tell you that because I was there. I'll break.
And I'm a teenager.
Like,
and they owe me money.
Like that. But there was a bunch of teens, right? And they had some little fucking little like a radio, like a little DVD player. They were fucking around with it. They were like, yeah. Watch this. And then I'll show you. Watch, let me flip this shit around. Show you exactly what's going on. Okay, I was in Miami because I was on a little graffiti expo and shit. So I was over there because dudes had me over there so I can go
those
paint,
Diablo
right?
4 portals?
So I was hanging around with my mans, and then we went to,
Unbelievable.
We went to the mall just to see what's up. So this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what I'll draw you what can happen. This is what happened.
Just tell me.
Okay?
I'm already skeptical. This is going on way too long.
Teens, right?
You already went to the next video?
He's gonna draw My Little Pony, isn't he?
And they had this little fucking box, like a little DVD player type thing. Right?
I'm already disappointed in the art.
Like, watch, go ahead.
I've already done things.
They look all nerdy. They weren't like thugged out. They all dressed nice.
They weren't
and shit,
thugged
Can't even draw a stick, man.
They were just right there, combo and shit.
Dude, kindergarten, I had a better house and fun than that.
Some
Come
of them
on.
had like weird guys' glasses, like welding glasses, and I was like, what the fuck? And the other guy was like, just go ahead and plug it in. I mean, we're right here, we're safe, you know. And so somebody plugged this shit in, and it started flickering, right? Because there was a column right here,
right?
You know, I was over here on the top. I was up here.
You couldn't need another piece of paper there.
Level. They were down here, and I was watching them from over here. Okay, so this shit started flickering, and it was flicking the rows of lights right here. All these lights were flickering. Then it started popping. When it started popping, everybody from over here started running this way to see because everybody was nosy. And as soon as it started popping, this thing started glowing, and it started going like a force field. Woo, 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 woo. And everybody that was behind this that I was seeing, everybody looked like this, like digital, like it was being disrupted by the wave. Only right here, Not right here. Everything else was still flickering. Right here was still popping. People were running. As soon as they got close and they see how this thing was moving, everybody started going this way. When they started going this way, these guys started backing up because from this, it started glowing and it looked like somebody put a foot out like that. And then somebody put a hand out like that. And then all you see was this. All you
Bigfoot.
see was like this, an image like that. That's all I seen. This was all glowing, so it was bright. This was the dark thing that I thought I seen come out.
Now you've colored
It looked like that. That's what came out. I was right here looking. It was me and 4 other dudes. 2 other guys ran over here and started filming. I'm waiting for them to give me the footage. But they say they got this thing coming out, and it didn't look like somebody. It looked more like everything got disrupted and was all wavy, and it did that effect. That's what it looked like to me. You know, I'm a graffiti artist. You know, I can do all kinds of shit with a spray paint can to make shit look like.
Can't draw paint,
with a pen.
Big artist. And bend in.
So I figured it out. They
shit,
took a portable CERN particle accelerator to the Miami Mall and sat it down in the middle, and they turned that fucker on.
This is what I see, and it looked like it was coming out.
It's CERN every time,
and
man.
It's because whatever little box they
Mandela
had,
effect. Now the mall,
To
we
be
can't
fair,
go to the mall
he
anymore.
has got some good
almost like a
stuff in the background.
You know, one of those military flashlights that they were trying to plug up, but it had like a horn to it because it was like,
yeah,
and
scribble on it more.
Like
I'm understanding better. More scribble.
And this shit right here was popping.
God almighty.
You know, all this right here was popping. But this is what I seen. This is what I seen come out. And everybody's taking off, screaming like, "Oh my God, look at that!" Everybody's turning around and look back to see this. And they were like, "Oh my God," and running. And at that point, this shit already fell and broke. And we were still right here walking this way because somebody started shooting from over here because we seen lights.
If any of this is
like
real,
2 or 3
that
lights,
man that started
and then
shooting is the
dudes that are right here, because those people right here looking, they took off this way. That's what I seen.
Guys, Miami Aliens 2024 is back.
Peace.
We're back, guys. Miami Aliens 2024. It's on. No, that actually looks like it could be some kind of hologram thing now. Now that's what I'm thinking. The thing I don't understand is the other guy made up this whole story. If it was really just like a hologram, like he just said he wasn't there at all. How did he know about all this?
The interesting thing I got from that was when he said about the welding glasses and the machine, because there was we were trying to do a show on people that had been abducted and that were killed by aliens. So I was trying to find like stuff. It's really difficult to find. Like, well, it was human mutilation is what we were looking for, but it's really hard.
Yeah,
to
we
find.
couldn't find any dead bodies, couldn't we?
But I came across a story of 2 guys that were found with like this weird box thing. They had their like homemade lead glasses with them, and they were both found dead with a note which told them to be at a certain place at a certain time to turn the box on and to put the glasses on. And they were both found by this boy that was walking up through the forest. They were both dead together.
When was that?
Kind of reminds me.
Oh, it was ages ago.
Hellraiser.
It was like the 50s, maybe 50, maybe even before. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Hellraiser's got a box, hasn't it?
Yeah, the Rubicon.
Yeah. They always say don't open Pandora's box.
I almost had a Rocky Rubicon tattooed on me actually, but I didn't have enough time.
I wouldn't do it now, not if it's real. Who knows?
I had a moment where I could watch the horror movies. I can't watch them, man. They just don't entertain me to see people get brutally murdered. It's just I don't have that in me to be entertained by.
I love them. They're my favorite, especially the weird ones with ghosts and aliens. And then if you mix ghosts and aliens, oh boy, I love those crappy horror movies.
Yeah, it's literally like you come to.
Yeah, the beginning of Saw 3 where the guy rips himself out of the chains. I was like, yeah, I'm good, man.
Well, I mean, that's just like torture porn, right? Like,
I can't watch it, man.
At that point.
I can't watch it.
Last Hellraiser film That was a sleeper. Like the modern Hellraiser film that came out. That was really good.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Is that the new one?
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Definitely worth watching.
Is that the guy with the head, the pins in his
Pinhead,
head?
Yeah.
Pinhead, is that his name? Yeah.
Pinhead Larry.
Is that his
Nick
name?
knows that.
If you want a good horror movie, Psycho Gorman. Don't know if you guys have seen it. It's on Shudder. If anyone's got Shudder, it's like a horror movie.
Is that like Dutch or something like that?
Yeah, no, it's an
Yeah.
American movie, but it's like
Oh,
a
is it?
comedy. It's absolutely, but it's a horror movie. It's absolutely hilariously funny and very gory at the same time, which me and my missus love gory movies.
I like horror films if they're. I like the ones like The Shining. You know, the ones that have got that
Yeah.
story to it.
Story.
and-
Yeah, I mean, the first
Yeah.
Saw was incredible. The first Saw is like one of the best, probably horror movies ever. It's so well done.
Yeah, it's
I
well
think my-
done. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
Because
religious in any. Sorry,
Go
Ashton, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the first Saw was a really unique idea, right? That's part of the reason why, like, all sequels and stuff never live up to their
Yeah.
originals. The first ones they put all their passion and great ideas into, and then just gets worse from there usually.
Yeah, it's a bit like The Exorcist. That's my favorite horror movie of all time. The Exorcist. It's just it's a bit of a slow burn, but it's just got that feeling to it. But saying about sequels, I mean, look at Exorcist 2. God, that's terrible. It's like one of the worst horror movies ever.
I'm looking forward to the sequel of Miami Aliens in the Mall.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be reporting on it again, probably soon.
Wouldn't it be wild if a man with the penciled on like mustache that can't draw, if his mates that were stood next to him all of a sudden release a video of some monster coming out of a portal?
I mean,
there's got to be a video is going to come out, guys. Now the question is, are we going to believe the video that comes out is going to be real, or is somebody going to make another hoax based on all the attention here to get more attention and perpetuate the cycle?
Well, that's all it takes, right? Is people have to see that this is making traction, and people will just make more. Yeah, for sure.
It's the same problem we have with the MH370 stuff, which I haven't actually formally retracted the bounty yet, but like I'm going to end up having to do that because like once things start to get traction, now you start to get all of these people who are unscrupulous coming involved, and you guys probably have heard some of the stuff that's happened, but it's pretty horrific how some people act related to it, and you get to a point where you can't trust really anybody who's bringing out any new information, especially the further along something goes and the more attention it gets. So that's sad because I hope that we can get some official answers to what happened in this mall. Like it's in my mind, if it's just some kids with sticks, like you got to show me the video, man.
Yeah. No, but boys, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. We're nearly hitting the 2-hour mark. Which Fridays, I know Terrestrial, you've got a show coming up literally, I think, in about 15 minutes, is it?
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, it's
7:15
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to launch it straight after the show.
No, I wasn't going to. I changed my mind. Well, because right after, Richie's gonna go, so I was like, I'll wait on it, and I won't do that. But no, that show comes out tomorrow, 7:15. The Aliens, Angels, and Demon Connection. Let's all together to that, and then we're gonna do our first Twitter space on Saturday or tomorrow morning, or tomorrow 1:00 Eastern time. So
awesome. I will try and tune into that. If I think I'll be working that time though, but
go ahead and plug your stream, your Twitter, or your YouTube, so people know. There's a lot of people watching right now. People jump in.
Yeah, I sure can. I'll get it in the chat, Ollie, while you guys are doing your thing.
Cool. Nick, my lad, you've been putting some work on. I was going to say Terrestrial Material then, but you've put quite a few out recently.
Yeah, I'm on the game, guys. So yeah, plenty of material on Nancy Flying Saucers. I got another video coming up tomorrow in regards of Maria Orsic and the esoteric side. So I'm going to be putting that another 3-hour video for you guys. But yeah, I managed to pump out 4 videos, one a day. So it's a big change from
It
not
goes
doing a
from
video nothing for 2 months. Yeah, into wrapping it up. But yeah, you can catch me out on Cosmic Twilight.
Yeah, and thank Nick. Honestly, it's been you're an absolute gem, my lad. Love having you here. And Ashton, when you going live next? You're live later on
Yeah,
today?
I mean, I think there's a bunch of my followers in the chat. I've been going live every day, and now I broke the streak. I'm not going to be going live till Sunday when I get back home. I've got fun, advanced science stuff to talk to people about in secret that I can't post about. So I'm gonna spend a couple of days doing that and learning as much as I can about the science. And then on Sunday, we'll see what I do. I don't know if it feels a little faux pas to jump right into EBO scientist after the mall alien stuff, but I'll probably try to get back to a little bit of MH370 stuff, and then I definitely plan to dig into more of that now that I'm part of the UFO community officially.
Bit of Ripple Moon coming up.
A little Ripple Moon follow up. Maybe I might do something follow up on that, and at some point, like I haven't decided what's all about that. Like if this is some people trying to tell me it's like, oh, some planes in the sky happen to be at the exact right angle where the people were looking, and that's what caused the distortion. I'm just like, man, it doesn't really quite add up. But
if you want to dig into that, I'll be dead honest. I find it difficult to listen to, so I stopped listening to the podcast. But Crow 777 was the first guy to sort of do that stuff, and like he's pretty big on all the sort of flat Earth podcasts and stuff like that. So maybe he'd be a good one to reach out to speak to about that when he like first recorded them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Since I'm a globe earther, it might be hard for us to get along side by side. I need like 3 or 4 martinis before I get into Ripple Earth, but or Ripple Moon, Ripple Earth. Look at me. But yeah, no, I think I don't know. We'll see. There's more to come.
I think like when it comes to flat earthers and like just general conspiracy people, you know, you've still got something in common. None of us trust the government, you know.
Yeah, and I don't judge anybody, right? Because it's like, I mean, I'm sitting here talking about planes teleporting. It'd be a little bit hypocritical if I was judging other people's thoughts. Like I was saying about, I was talking to Captain Dan Hanley, and he's like, "Oh, we can remote control the airplane," and I wrote a 66-page thing about it. I'm like, dude, you had me on page 1. Like I'm down with remote controlling an airplane. That's not a tough sell for me, right? At this point.
Well, Lee, you've got us. We've got a guest on Sunday coming up.
Yeah, we've got Mark from My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast. It's really good. I listen to the pod. Like his show is in like one of my regular like weekly listens. Is a really good podcast.
I can't wait for that. It's going to be a banger. But yeah, people, thank you so much, everybody in the chat. You've been phenomenal. We've only got 2 pieces of merch actually up on the website at the minute because Lee decided to delete everything by accident because he wanted to have a little tidy up.
We had 172 items on our list.
We had nappies.
Like, we had fucking everything. Baby grows. Like we had baby grows. I was disgusted at the fact that we had fucking masks on there. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I
okay.
did not do that.
Okay, grifter.
Vaccines next.
I know. But yeah, no, I streamlined the process. That's what I did. I went in and I streamlined it.
So we've got that one up. We got that one up, people. There you go.
I know what I'm buying.
It's that big sexy ape, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those links in your guys' stream in descriptions.
The links, people, are in the description for the 2 there. There's stickers and there's t-shirts. We've kept it simple.
Also, people should
you wait till Ashton comes back for you on that t-shirt money, like back child support. It's coming.
People should also know that if they obviously they've come this far, so probably don't need to do it. But in the future, Alien Addict is also a podcast that is on all of the podcast platforms as well. So if Ollie has used my link tree, which
I have
used, is it there? Great. The podcast links are down the bottom. Only took 12 months to start you doing that.
Yeah. Oh, Ashton, just before we go, did you know that Bigfoot had tits?
Really? Oh, look at that. Oh, that's my favorite joke right there that I just dropped. The Mitch Hedberg joke. We
that's
dropped
real, by the way.
I think Bigfoot is blurry. You know, that's why we can never take a good picture of him. That's extra scary to me.
Yeah. Right, people. Good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. We are Alien Addict. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that jazz. And make sure you check out all the links in the description.
Dozens of police officers swarming Bayside Marketplace tonight.
That's where we find Local 10 crime specialist Bridget Matter live with what sparked this chaotic scene. Bridget.
And chaotic is an understatement. There has been a lot of activity in the last hour. This all started, according to police, with some sort of fight between juvenile groups that were armed with sticks.
Nueve y 35 de la noche de hoy, 1 de enero, frente a Bayside.
Ronnie, what do we got? We got units headed out there now. EMS and fire. We're about. I think Alpine Walker's falling.
See you next week, folks. See you Sunday. And yeah, cover your nipples up with a t-shirt. Good night.